Between 1964 and 1966, Jayne Mansfield regularly wrote her own column called On Love, Jayne Mansfield. I believe it was featured in the National Enquirer. I'm not 100% sure though. So I have a scrapbook that was made at the time of print. So it would have been made in the late 60s, and someone has gathered up all the columns that she wrote and they pasted it into a scrapbook. Now this scrapbook is it doesn't have a spine anymore. The spine wore off, so they're separate pages now. But it's got all of her columns pasted in on the pages, and it's actually really interesting to read. A lot of the headlines are quite sensational. Yeah, a lot of the headlines are very silly actually, but the articles itself are actually pretty interesting, and it's fun to read. Anything that's from Jayne's perspective is always, in my opinion, really interesting to read. So there's a lot of image. Each one has an image with it, and some of them are quite rare photos, like this one here. It's quite a rare image. Yeah, obviously some of them were older pictures alongside, like older photos taken a few years before the actual article was written. But yeah, it really showcases Jayne and her entire career, really, pretty much. Her thoughts on life, and yeah, it's really interesting. These are quite rare to come by. There's another rare picture there. But if you ever do manage to find any, I would recommend snagging them up, because these are really cool, and it's quite a rare Jayne item. I know around this time she was in talks to have her own radio station. I mean, yeah, radio chat show, but that never actually happened. That would have been so cool as well. But to have these articles it's pretty great that these are still out there. And there's another rare image as well. Yeah, and there was a cool competition as well where you could win a date with Jayne, which that would have been a really awesome prize for whoever won it. And see, like, there's an old photo of Jayne there. So it really showcases her throughout her entire career. I think we're coming to the end now. This is a full page ad for the competition, which I think is really cool. And here we go, that's the last page. So the covers of the scrapbook they're not that interesting, so that's why I didn't film the cover. It's all just the interior that I've shown with you. Yeah, it's really interesting, and if you can grab a hold of them for yourself, I highly recommend doing that.